Hey guys, and welcome back. It is Michael from Hallowed Thrills, back as always, and welcome to the new year. If you may have noticed at the very beginning of this video, we have a new intro because we're looking for a new look this year. It's 2022. We're going to be mixing things up, but we have that new intro. I'm going to have a new outro at the end of this video. It's just a whole bunch of just upgrades a little bit to the channel as far as videos go, just changing it up a little bit. But today's video, we have what I believe will be at HHN this year. This is stuff that I have heard, that I just makes sense as far as anniversaries for movies that came out, just a bunch of different things that I've seen or heard or just thought up on myself with that I think could possibly be coming to HHN 31 this year. So this is episode 1 of the speculation season. We're starting it off early, but we are going to start off with that. But before we get into that, please make sure you are subscribed and have the bell notification turned on to get notified whenever I post a video. And also make sure that you're following both my Instagram and my Twitter. The links for both of those are down in the description, so make sure you follow me on both of those. And now let's head into our first speculation of HHN 31. So for this speculation video, we're going to be solely doing the houses. I have no idea what the scare zones are going to be, no clue whatsoever. So we're going to just be focusing on the houses, and one of the shows that I'm pretty sure is going to be changing up a little bit this year. So let's start off with our marquee house of the event. This is the one that's going to be pushed the most, the one that's going to be the face of this year's event, and most likely, in my case that I have it here, going to be at Music Plaza, right in the very front there. And I believe this is going to be Stranger Things 4. Stranger Things 4, it makes sense. We've had 1, 2, and 3. And with the new season possibly coming out this summer, it just makes sense. It makes sense, and Universal just wants to really push that Netflix property and really give it to the forefront, and they have that young audience that just loves that franchise, so they want to get those people in, and with the new season coming out, it just makes sense. So Stranger Things 4 is what I think is going to be at the very front of the park, and our first IP of this year. Now, heading back to our next location, if you're just going to continue down the line there, we're heading to Fallon, the Jimmy Fallon entrance, and this is going to be in one of the back sound stages as well. And this is going to be our Universal Monsters house for this year. Of course, Universal Monsters, it was at 29, it was at 30, and I think they're going to keep the train rolling. It's an easy original IP that they can use. It's their own IP, so it's technically original, but anyways, it's an easy thing that they can use to save a little bit of money, and also has been killer at the past events. And this year's, I think we got a little bit of a teaser in The Bride of Frankenstein Lives, and I think that Creature is going to be at the event. Creature has been begged for. It was one of the better parts of the original Universal Monsters house at 29, so I think that either Creature will show up or maybe Invisible Man. I personally would love to see an Invisible Man because I saw him from clips in the Hollywood Universal Monsters house, and he just looks so cool, and I would love to have him over here in Orlando. But next up, we're heading back to I believe that was the Tooth Fairy location last year, and I think this is going to be our second IP of the event. And I think this is going to be The Thing. Now, yes, The Thing has been at the event before. We had it twice, I believe, in The Thing and The Thing Assimilation. The Thing Assimilation was a original, like, sequel to the original movie. So it didn't actually include characters from the original movie, but not actually scenes from the original movie. And then the other one that they did which was just The Thing, was based off the 2011 film. Now, I want this one based off of the original, and the original, it's going on its 40th anniversary this year, so I think it's a good year to bring it to the event. So I think The Thing is going to be back at the Tooth Fairy location. Now, our next location, which is going to be the one to the right, which is what Icons was last year, I think this one is going to be a new original idea, something brand new that we haven't seen before. I have no idea what it could possibly be. I have a few ideas, like maybe like Greek mythology or something like that, but I had no idea. Now, next up, we have, going all the way back next to Men in Black, we're heading to the Men in Black tent. Now, the houses in recent history have not been great for this location. We've had a few good ones recently, but this time, I think we're going to head back to a more of a story-based original idea, and I think we're going to have a returning original for this location. It was kind of teased a little bit last year, and I think we're going to have the return of Hellgate Prison. But I think it's going to be a twist where they somehow connect Hellgate Prison to Psychotherapy, to Shady Brook. I have no idea how they're going to get this done, but there were multiple areas in the tribute store as well as in the Scary Ohio house that just pointed to that showing up at this year's event. So I think that Hellgate Prison, in a new sense, will be at the event this year. Now, heading back to our first sprung tent, this is where Wicked Growth was last year. I think this is going to be based off of the Chucky TV series. The Chucky TV series, it started at the end of last year. People absolutely adored it. It got such good feedback compared to the movie that came out, which was but I think that we're going to have the Chucky TV show is super backed by Universal. They have their hands all in it. We had that little photo op last year. I think that was kind of like a test run to see if people were interested in Chucky coming back to the event again. So I just think that the Chucky TV show would just fit so perfectly in this location as well as at the event, just because of the well-received nature of the show from last year. But moving right next door to the other sprung tent, this was something that was kind of teased and toyed with at both Hollywood and Universal Orlando last year, but it never really gained any traction. And it's kind of like along the lines of the Billie Eilish house, which was going to be an original with Billie Eilish giving some feedback and having her hands in it. Now, I think this one is going to be along the lines of that, but we're going to have Jordan Peele help out with an original this year. This showed up on, I think, one of the Hollywood speculation maps last year, and I think it would have a great impact over at Orlando. And I think that the sprung tent houses, seeing what we did last year with them, I think he would fit perfectly in a sprung tent, and I just would love to see what he could do with a free reign on an original house. It would be so cool. But next up, we are heading back to the New Parade building for one that an IP that I have been saying is going to be at the event in this exact same format, and it is starting to be rumored this year, and I'm excited. And I am saying right now, the New Parade building this year is going to have Blumhouse Presents Halloween, the trilogy. Like, it's going to have the 2018 Halloween Kills and parts of Halloween Ends, as that movie is scheduled to come out this year. So I am super back in this. I want this to happen so badly. I just really need this to happen this year. Not only because Michael Myers, but I love the 2018 film. Halloween Kills was but I'm expecting Halloween Ends to really wrap up that whole story. And between you and me, I think Laurie's gonna, but we'll have to see what happens when the movie comes out this year. Now, before we get into our last two houses, I just want to say I have a feeling that this is going to be a very IP heavy year, but not like your big IPs that you're used to, just a lot of in-house IPs or a lot of IPs that Universal already has good relations with. So like I said, Blumhouse, Universal has a very good relationship with Blumhouse, and I think Halloween by Blumhouse has a good chance to come in. We have Chucky, which definitely could come back. Stranger Things, we have that amazing partnership with Netflix going on right now. It's just all, and the fact that Jordan Peele's Us came to the event the other year. These are all good relations that could possibly be showing back up at the event this year and being a little bit of on the cheaper side, but still bringing us a ton of IPs at the event. Now, heading into our last two, with that being said, these are also both IPs. I have Candyman in the old Parade building. Now, Candyman, this could be either the original or the one that came out last year. I loved the one that came out last year. It was so good. I could see so many different parts of the movie fitting so well into the house. I would love to see what they could do with the paper puppets that they did throughout the film, as to tell like the backstory and everything. I just thought that movie was so good, and that it would just merge and fit so well in a Halloween Horror Nights house. And I would love to see the Candyman at the event this year. The last and final house at the event this year that I am speculating and predicting will be there, in the Shrek building. Yes, that you heard me right. I think that the Shrek building is not going anywhere, at least for this year. There are no plans as of right now to start building anything in there. As of right now, the only plans that I have heard is them to start demoing the inside of the building. Now, that is where my little big idea for this year comes into play. I think we're going to get a mega house. If they demolish the complete interior of the Shrek building, you have a giant empty soundstage to use as a house. That is 2 Shrek theaters worth of space to make a house. Now, what IP do I think could fit perfectly in a mega house that came out recently that would definitely work as a mega house because of all the content? What about Fear Street? Fear Street is super rumored right now, and with 3 different movies to include in one house, I think a mega house in the Shrek building would work so well. This is my shot in the dark. 100% probably won't happen, but I would love to see happen, just because it would just make so much sense for this to happen at the event this year. We have all 3 films in one house. It continues that little partnership that we have with Netflix, because it was on Netflix, and would just knock it out of the park. I think that they would do a fantastic job bringing Fear Street to the event. Now you may be wondering, Michael, where's Scream? Scream 5's coming out this year. Why don't you think Scream is going to be at the event? I got one reason for you. Warner Brothers and Universal don't merge well together. You may be saying, but Beetlejuice was at the event last year. Beetlejuice's house was eh. And I think that Warner Brothers had a lot of hands in that house, which is why it wasn't that good. I think that Warner Brothers was like, you'll do what we tell you to do as far as building this house, and then you're just going to build it. And I don't think Scream's coming. And even if it does come for Scream 5, I think that Warner Brothers is going to go along the lines of being like, you can do a compilation house of all 5 movies, but the 5th one has to be at the forefront of the entire house. So you can do a couple rooms of the backstory for the first 4 films, but the majority of the house needs to be that 5th film. And I just think that that's the way that this could go, and it would really suck for that to be the way that Scream is portrayed at HHN. I would rather it not come than have it be like that, if it's in my opinion. Now, the one show that is on everybody's minds that could it be coming back, or what's going to happen with that, and that is the Fear Factor stage. The Fear Factor stage is officially been confirmed that Fear Factor is not coming back, and the stage is most likely going to be demoed, and they're going to build something there instead. Which leaves a show without a home. Now, you may be wondering, where do I think it's going to go? A lot of people are saying that it's going to go to Animal Actors, but I don't think that's going to be the case, because Animal Actors does bring in a decent amount of people during the daytime, and I don't think they want to close off that for a couple months for them to build a stage there for the event. But something does have an empty stage for us to use, and that would be what was recently used for Grinchmas. The Blue Man Group stage is completely empty, and there's that sound stage that they can just shove all the Grinchmas stuff in and build a new stage within the Blue Man Group Theater. There's a whole bunch of seats in there. You can just walk straight from the park into the Blue Man Group area, and it would just work so perfectly to have a show in there. Unfortunately, it's an indoor stage, so I don't think we'll be seeing any sort of pyro show, or at least to the extent of what Nightmare Fuel was last year. Maybe we'll see the Fuel Girls back, but I don't think it'll be something to that extent. Maybe we'll have some sort of some sort of dance show, or I'm not sure, but I think that the Grinchmas stage, or the Blue Man Group stage rather, is the perfect spot for us to move the show this year. But in total, we have 6 IPs and 4 originals that I believe are going to come to the event this year. And let's just run through them one more time. We got Stranger Things 4, Universal Monsters, Creature, we have The Thing, we have a new original, we have Hellgate Prison, we have Chucky the TV show, we have a Jordan Peele original, we have Blumhouse Presents Halloween Trilogy, we have Candyman, and we have Fear Street. This is just my ideas. I 100% want to let you know that. They are my thoughts. And a couple of them are based on rumors that I've heard. None of these are coming, like none of these are 100% coming to the event. They're just what I believe would possibly come to the event this year and would just make sense. So don't take my words as fact. This is just all speculation, as you know. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you drop a like and also comment down below, letting me know, out of everything that I listed today, what are you looking forward to the most, or what do you think is going to come to the event instead? But as always, I'm Michael, this has been Hall of Thrills, and I'll see you guys next time.